you? Would you? That depends on a lot of things. That depends on tomorrow brings. That depends on whether we stay up late. And that depends if you leave or if you wait. And that depends on whether it ends on time. And that depends on where you draw the line. And that depends if we have some place to go. And that depends
whether you say
yes or no. That depends. That depends. Do you? Don't you? Will you? Want you? Can you? Could you? Did you? Would you? Well, that depends on whether I make a move. And that depends on whether you want me to. And that depends if you ask before I ride. And that depends on whether you feel the vibe. That depends if you let me alone. And that depends who's there when we get home. And that depends on whether we go inside. And that
depends on if it's your lucky night.
That depends. That depends. You have some questions. Questions from me. I just can't handle the uncertainty. We need decisions.
Chris, what's the deal?
How am I supposed to know how I'm going to feel? I mean, in the future, how do I know what I'm going to feel? That's a depends. That depends. That depends. That depends on a lot of things. That depends. That depends what tomorrow brings. And that depends on whether we stay up late. And that depends if you leave or if you wait. And that depends on whether it ends on time. And that depends on where you draw the line. And that depends if we have some place to go. And that
Depends whether I say yes or no.
That depends. That depends. That depends. That depends. That depends. It depends. That depends. That depends.
Confession by County Cullen. If for a day joy masters me, think not my wounds are healed. Far deeper than the scars you see, I keep the roots concealed. They shall bear blossoms with the fall. I have their word for this, who tend my roots with rains of gall and sons of prejudice. About this poem. Confession appears in County Cullen's collection Copper's Sun. In Afro-American Poetics, Revisions of Harlem and the Black Aesthetic, Houston A. Baker, Jr., distinguished professor of English at Vanderbilt University, writes, "The overriding dichotomy in Cullen's second volume, Copper's Sun, is one of stasis and change." The short poem operates upon a metaphor of germination, which, according to Baker, pervades the entire first section of Copper's Sun, titled Color, which deals with the theme of race. Although tones of apocalypse, reckoning, or retribution hang over the poem, its speaker may see a better day approaching, the possibility of regeneration and immortality, and death as an occasion for solace and wisdom. Though he is now battered and scarred, there is a new day coming for the Black American.
And that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, I wrote this note. I was listening to the superposition of states music,
Yeah.
it's really, uh, sonically, it's just in this really great place, and it's very expansive, and
Mm.
where it can start to how it builds. And I wrote this note. I put this note, and I put, songs are temporary, sound is eternal.
Yeah, and that one of the things like that those pieces on that record are a lot about where is the now in the time, and in a song it's like we make these jokes about how when you're playing a song it's like you go around in these cycles of verses and choruses, or chord progressions. Chords go around in this cycle, whatever. And the bass player plays his notes in a cycle, and the drummer has the smallest cycles because he's always going 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So like drummers are all like a dog, all wound up, But it's like getting out of that where it's like everything has to come back to the one, so that we're all together again like that. Those pieces of music a lot of times are about stretching out that moment. So you'll hear the melodies or a note, and that note may happen, but then there are preceding pieces of it that may happen before it actually happens, and then there are echoes of it that happen, or it's stretched out and superimposed over itself.
Right.
So it's like the idea is to try and stretch where is the now of that note that you are listening to, that you're hearing right now. There were some exercises that I used to try to do when I was listening to classical music or to avant-garde music or to improvised music when I was in graduate school, about trying to hear, to see how much of the music you could remember as you were listening to it, versus like trying to only hear what was happening at that exact moment.
Okay.
And like one of the reasons why I like a lot of 20th century avant-garde music and a lot of improvised music and stuff like that is because it doesn't place you in that same listening state where your forebrain is working on predicting when the next rhythmic downbeat is going to happen, or how this melody is going to have a cadence. It's like you're trying to experience it as it happens only then.
Yeah.
And can you hold on to any of that, or is it just floating by you? Can you hear some music and then continue holding in your mind what you've just heard,
Right,
while you're hearing the music continuing, or is it, are you just in the moment listening to that?
Before there was wax cylinders,
Right.
an opera would come into town,
Right.
You'd be in Italy somewhere, and they come in and they'd have this production. And the next morning, people would be whistling pieces of music that they heard the one time.
One time, yeah.
And
they heard it, and then also that's like echoes of it happening, over days.
Right. Because I was wondering about just about your music education, because you do, you have a pop sensibility. You have a musicianship, and you have this avant-garde part of your persona. So talk about your music education.
I moved to UC Santa Cruz in 1981, and I was studying music composition there when I started playing with Camper Van Beethoven.
Okay.
So I was like, I had a violin that I tried to learn how to play when I was 10, 11 years old. And so when I was 18, again, I was like, I'm going to learn how to play the violin for real so I could play in the orchestra. and because I was trying to get a degree in music composition, and then I started playing with Camper. So those things sort of happened simultaneously, and in the experience of playing with Camper van Beethoven, it was sort of funny because during that period in the early 80s, I didn't actually listen to, I had been a huge rock music listener, obviously, because I played the electric guitar and everything, and it's like, was really into like everything from, the 60s, 70s, all through the early 80s, Clash, new wave and punk stuff. But then when I started working on the degree in music, I stopped listening to the radio and I stopped listening to rock to catch up. And I only listened to like classical music, Baroque music, 14th century music, and 20th century music, so that I could like learn all of the stuff that I'd missed, basically.
Right. Wow.
And then it was only when like Camper started working with, in the indie world in like 84, 85, people are like, oh, we got to listen to REM. It's like, what is REM?
Right.
So I had to catch up then again, and then in the process of working with Camper, we encountered so many different bands in the 1980s, including like playing with all these punk bands and playing with all these bands like REM, and playing with Eugene Chadbourne.
Right.
And Eugene Chadbourne was great for me because he was like, oh, I want to play with you guys. All you have to do is just improvise. And then he wouldn't tell us what to do.
Right.
He wouldn't tell us like how to play the song, and we'd have to figure it out. We'd just be like, well, when in doubt, step on the distortion pedal, because I don't know what the hell's going on anymore, So it was very freeing. And then I think a major milestone in that world was that in February of 1991, when the first Iraq war started, we were scheduled to go, Chris and Victor and I, and Graham Kana was playing organ, and I think there was the four of us, flew with Eugene over to Europe to play shows as Camper van Chadbourne.
Oh yeah.
And the war started like the day that we flew, and all the other American bands were scared and they canceled tours. So we had really big audiences because nobody else was playing. And Eugene was like, we're going to do American music, and it's going to be all protest songs. It's going to be jazz, free jazz, because free jazz comes from this ability, the desire for freedom, the desire for free speech, the desire for freedom in society. We're going to play country music because there's all these, country music has so much great protest to it. We're going to play like protest songs by Phil Oakes and stuff like that. We're going to play rock music, and we played these covers of all these great American musics.
If you can just get your mind together.
And I was like, oh, okay, all of these can be improvised together. We can work on these sorts of things in an improvisatory way to be able to meld all of the American experiences in a way in this to show the European audiences essentially where we were coming from. System I.
When I was listening to that, it was the very first thing to dial back on the limits, and again I start writing down, what is the influences I hear, and then to me it was very jazzy, and
the drummer is a jazz drummer, so totally that sort of automatically puts it in that world. It's a funny thing. I mean, it's just expressions of music to me.
One, two, three. Well, I lost an eye in Mexico, lost 2 teeth where I don't know. But people see me coming and they move to the other side of the road. I robbed a liquor store or 2, I made myself at home a few times, borrowed myself a car when I needed it. I got me a shack at the bottom of the road, fixing cars and giving toes. Spend all my money on the lottery. When I win the lottery, gonna buy all the girls on my block color TV and a bottle of French perfume. When I win the lottery, gonna donate half my money to the city, so they have to name a street or a school or a park after me. When I win the lottery, I never run a flag up a pole like Mr. Red, White, and Blue down the road, but I never called myself a hero for killing unknown communists. Now I can walk into any old bar, I find a fight without looking too hard, but I never killed someone I don't know just 'cause someone told me to. And when I win the lottery, gonna buy Post 306 American Legion painted red with 5 gold stars. This will be interesting. When I win the lottery, gonna buy the house next to Mr. Red, White, and Blue. When I win the lottery, when the end comes to this old world, the righteous will cry and the rest will curl up, and God won't take the time to sort your ashes from mine. 'Cause we zig and zag between good and bad, stumble and fall on right and wrong. It's a tumbling dice and the luck of the draw that leads us on. When I win the lottery, gonna buy all the girls on my block silver plated or 6-shooters and a quart of the finest Highland scotch. 'Cause when I win the lottery, the righteous will shake their heads. They'll say that God is good, but surely works in mysterious ways. When I win the lottery,
In parts 1 and 2, the story of Inland Empire band, the Caretakers, was recounted. The band formed in 1965 and disbanded by 1970. They released 4 singles during their music career. In part 3, you will hear the A-sides of their first 2 singles. The Caretakers' first single was Good Inside. It was composed by Steve Horde, lead singer for Inland Empire group The Bush, who hailed from the city of Rialto. It was released in April 1968.
inside, and I wonder why. You let me know just how it feels to love somebody. It feels so good. I don't think about anybody but you. I don't even try, and you know that it's true. I need you so bad, I don't know what to do. And when I touch your flawless skin, it all begins, and I lose control. I never want to let you go. I want you close to me, and you know I don't think about anybody but you. I don't even try, and you know that it's true. I need you so bad, I don't know what to do. And when I think about you, I feel good inside, and I wonder why. You let me know just how it feels to love somebody. It feels so good. I don't think about anybody but you. I don't even try, and you know that it's true. I need you so bad, I don't know what to do. About you, I feel good inside.
The Caretakers' second single was the protest song, The World Outside. It was composed by band members Bruce Robertson and Bill Murray.
Outside is slipping beneath my feet. I get more confused with each new person I meet. I pull back my blinds and search the cloud-covered skies. Meanwhile, the moan of young turns into cries. Same old way, people talk with nothing to say. Some people laugh while others feel nothing but hate. In the fortress of my mind I sit and wait. The time to come when they will see that it takes more than laws to make men free. Every day is the same old way. People talk with nothing to say. Called Vietnam, men are sent to fight in an undeclared war that some people think is right. This isn't a theory, it's the
In Part 4, the A-sides of the Caretakers' third and fourth singles will be presented. But when the fourth single was released, the Caretakers had a new name.